All right, I'm here with Paul Catalina. This is part 2 to our First Thoughts series, where I go through NFL teams and Paul gives me his first thought that comes to mind. And this video is going to be on the AFC. All right, and we'll start with Buffalo Bills.
Thurman Thomas. That's the first thing I think of is Thurman Thomas.
Miami Dolphins.
Dan Marino, someone who I've never been able to interview and has been rude to me a couple times in Super Bowls, but he was still one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and I'll always think of him when I think of the Dolphins.
New England Patriots.
Tom Brady. That's what I'll think of forever.
New York Jets.
Oh, the butt fumble. Absolutely the butt fumble. I really do hope the Jets do something great here in the next decade. They probably won't because their owner's just a buffoon, but the butt fumble's the first thing that comes to my mind, and not Joe Namath, and that's really sad.
Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, Baltimore Ravens, I think of Ray Lewis. I think of Ray Lewis coming out and doing that dance. So many players I really liked. I think if I was not a Cowboys fan, I could easily be talked into being a Ravens fan.
Cincinnati Bengals.
The Bengals, I think of their owner, Mike Brown, and some of the stories I've heard from friends of mine who played for the Bengals that are not great about Mike Brown. Nothing awful, just like he's just not that all quick on the uptake, but I think of Mike Brown.
Cleveland Browns.
The Cleveland Browns, I think of Bernie Kosar and his weird under center stance.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
The Steelers, I think of James Harrison's touchdown against the Cardinals in the Super Bowl.
Houston Texans.
The Houston Texans, I still think of poor David Carr. I really do. He was a really good player. They didn't have an offensive line. They broke him. They shattered him. Probably could have been a little bit better had they built the line in front of him. That's what I think of.
Indianapolis Colts.
The Colts, I think of Peyton Manning.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Mark Brunell. In second place, Keenan McCardle and Jimmy Smith, but Mark Brunell for sure.
Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee Titans, Steve McNair all the way. Steve, one of the greatest quarterbacks I ever saw play. I was a really big fan of Steve McNair. He's a tragic death, but yeah, Steve McNair is what I think of.
Denver Broncos.
John Elway. If it's anything else, please let me know in the comments.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Patrick Mahomes. I mean, it wasn't for the longest time. Now it has to be Patrick Mahomes. And I guess you could, I'm sure there's some people are going to say Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, but it's got to be Mahomes.
Las Vegas Raiders.
I think of Al Davis. Just win, baby. And how many great and terrible things he did simultaneously as an owner.
And lastly, the LA Chargers.
The LA Chargers, I think of Stan Humphries, who quarterbacked them to a Super Bowl, but it was a terrible loss to the 49ers, but I think of Stan Humphries. Also, thank you to Athletic Brewing Company for sponsoring this video. Go to 365sportsdeals.com, click on the Athletic Brewing logo, and find where they sell it near you. All the great taste of beer, none of the alcohol at athleticbrewing.com.